and that are prohibited. Then the Mishnah discusses what type of oil can you use. With regards to the types of prohibited oils, one may light neither with pitch, everyone know what pitch is, of course, nor with wax, nor with castor oil. You know what castor oil is? Yep. Huh?
What is it?
Castor oil.
Is that kink?
Okay? Sham and cake.
Yeah.
Nor with burnt oil, nor with fat from a sheep's tail, nor with tallow. Nor with tallow. You could take tallow and then. So what we did 1,000 years ago is we put cotton thread in the tallow. So we're really burning the cotton thread, and the tallow is sort of allowing the burning to take place at a very measured pace. Otherwise, it would just burn up, just like if you took a piece of rope and you lit one end, it would just burn up in 2 minutes flat. Nachum the Mede said one may light with boiled tallow. See, he disagrees, okay? But the rabbis say both tallow that was boiled and tallow that was not boiled, one may not light with them. By the way, you know what the boiling does? You mix tallow with sodium hydroxide, and you get a soapy form of it, okay?
Well, what are you supposed to do with it?
What?
If you mix tallow with sodium hydroxide?
Oh, yeah, then it becomes, what do you call it, boiled, and then you boil it. The sodium hydroxide unites with the long chain fatty acids, and it becomes stable.
And it makes soap?
You can make soap, you can make all sorts of things, and the way we make
And
candles
you could
is
actually
similar.
light that?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, the rabbi said, no, you can't light it. The rabbi said, no, Nachum the Mede,
So what did they use?
you're one of your guys.
No,
He's a Mede.
yeah, but it's from Iran.
You're not here.
Persia.
Okay.
So they can't use the tallow, can't use any tallow.
We don't use tallow. And then the
What do they
pictures,
use?
what do we use? By and large, olive oil.
Just olive oil.
Yeah, come on.
All that
And then there are
all
pictures.
that
There's no
about-
commentary as to the why, it's just stated.
It's just,
given.
in the Mishnah, it's just stated. Then pages upon pages of
Pages.
explanation
Okay.
by the Talmud. For instance, here's a picture of the castor plant. And a little explanation.
I've been at places where they always make a big deal out of lighting the candles on Friday night, and we never do anything about that.
No, we light it with electric.
So you don't-
You're talking about the home candle, the two candles on Sabbath, the Sabbath candle on Friday night that you light? Is that what
No,
you're
I'm
referring?
talking about here.
Yeah, we used to do that.
Oh, well, that's
We do-
something you do at the
you
home.
We
Do
do
it
it,
at
but
the
don't
home.
forget, Sabbath starts sometimes when it's already sundown.
At 5
So
o'clock in the
you
winter.
can
Yeah.
light it.
You do it at home.
You can't
At
transfer.
home, you can light it.
You can't transfer.
So in
So-
other words, here, number one, we probably don't want the smoke.
No,
No,
we
no,
don't
no,
wanna
no, no.
violate, we don't wanna violate the Sabbath.
In all the Jewish
In
hospitals, at
Visalia,
a
8
time
o'clock, they light the candle.
when largely Jews populated the hospitals, they forbade a long time ago the lighting of Sabbath candles by candles. They made everyone light it with electric lights. For, use your
Fire
brains for
Safety
whatever,
reasons.
whatever reason
Israel
there were.
too.
If we light a Hanukkah candle by candle, it's in our private home, we watch.
It can be
You're
dangerous.
supposed to, and it doesn't last that long. But in a public place, so the Talmud goes on and on and on and explains all types.
Were you gonna
of-
say something about castor beans?
No,
Oh, just showed the picture.
I just showed the picture. So now I go back to among all the things that the rabbi said that are permitted and not. Now I'll read it to you in English. And from where do you say that we are concerned about suspicion? We have suspicions about certain things. As it was taught in the Tosefta that Rabbi Shimon said, on the account of 4 things the Torah said, one should leave payah crops for the poor in the corner of his field, specifically at the end of his field. So the Talmud interjects something. There is no Talmud on payah, but some instructions of why the corner of the field, not the middle of the field. Okay? And the Talmud goes on to explain these 4 things. Robbing of the poor, causing the poor to be idle due to suspicion, and due to the fact that you should not wholly reap the thing. I'll give you one of the examples that the Talmud gives. We'll leave it at that. The Gemara explains, due to robbing the poor. Remember, the gleanings belong to the poor. They're not the gift of the field owner to the poor. So that the owner of the house will not see a time when the field is unoccupied and there are no poor people in the area. If he could designate payah as he wished, there is room to suspect that he might say to his poor relative, this is payah, in the place and at the time that he chooses. He would thereby conceal the fact that there's payah in the field from other poor people. The result would be that, for all intents and purposes, he robbed the payah from those with whom he did not share the information.
Insider trading.
I got a poor cousin, why do I have to give it? Why is it open to everyone? I'm giving it to my poor cousin. Remember, the payah belongs to everyone. Okay? So we finished that a little bit. Now a little bit about more. Where is this?
Should you have 2 spouts or 1?
More.
What?
Should your lamp have 2 spouts or 1?
That's discussed. That's among the details. You want there's a picture of a 2-spouted lamp in
So
here.
it's
So
okay.
nor light.
Yeah, if you have 2 spouts, the question is, can you put a wick on one for one person and a wick for another, so that 2 people accomplish the mitzvah of lighting the Sabbath candle? We are so wealthy that we each have our own candles, we each have our own candelabra. One wouldn't even think of these things, but you're talking about a very, very impoverished society. The rabbis wanted to protect that as well. Okay. So,
Wow.
from the laws of Sabbath, I showed you there are 2 big books of this. Here's the other book. This the other book?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 2
Part
books.
1 and part 2.
This picture is the book of the bronze laver that they had in the temple. It must have been about 10 foot tall, and they had spouts in the mouths of these things, and you washed your feet and your hands from the spouts. And this huge thing was filled with water. Okay? It doesn't show it in good perspective. If you showed a human being down here, the human being would be like this big.
The ladder gives you quite a bit of information.
Oh, the ladder?
The big
you mean?
ladder, yeah.
Yeah.
They usually are
Yeah.
pretty big.
Everyone see that? So, in Sabbath, there are all types of things about the Sabbath. In the Bible it says, Zochar, remember as Yom HaShabbos, the day of the Sabbath, Lekadsho, to make it holy. In the book of Deuteronomy, in the Ten Commandments. It says, shamor, guard.
Keep guard watch.
So biblical, there's two things. One is to remember, and one is to guard. We have taken these to mean, Zohar, remember this is a special day. How do you remember that it's a special day? When the day comes in, you make kiddush, you make sanctification. Do we make kiddush? You bet your life we make kiddush. Whether you do it at home, whether you do it in synagogue, we make kiddush.
Question.
Yeah,
If you make Kiddush at home and
yeah,
you come to synagogue,
right.
can you make Kiddush a second time?
If you make kiddush in what do you call it? That's not even a question, because at home, and then you come to synagogue. The synagogue, there are always people who didn't hear it, so you can always make it. The question is, if you heard it in synagogue and then you went home and can you make it at home?
Well, that was the question before, because you had, on Friday night, your congregation always met before Sabbath.
Right.
Now,
Now,
we
if
meet
we meet
after
later,
Sabbath starts.
right. So the question is, if we make kiddush at 5 to 9, should you make kiddush at 9:30 when you go home? Okay?
Yeah.
Privately. And some people say yes, some people say no, and the best answer is, you have to eat something at home.
Okay.
So
You
take-
can say Kiddush and then.
So take out challah, or take out a piece of meat, or take out soup, or take out
Whatever.
cake, whatever you want.
Do you have to do a bracha and then a?
Of course, of course.
You always-
Baracha for everything.
Birkat hamazon.
You always say.
What?
Yeah.
After the eating, you have to say the Birkat hamazon.
That depends on what you ate.
Wine.
The Birkat Hamazon, the grace after meals is if you ate a meal.
That's not, okay, it's not a meal.
So you
it's
went
just a
home, if you
piece of
went
bread.
home, and you had a meal at 9:30, then you have to say grace after meals. But if you just went home, you had a piece of cake to eat, eat a piece of cake. Then you just make a short little blessing.
But if you had
You
a
missed
piece
the
of
class,
bread-
you missed the class last
Yeah.
last Sunday.
Piece of bread.
Jay.
Sorry.
No, say it.
So, the mitzvah of Zohar, remember the Sabbath, goes on Friday night that we make the Kiddush. The fact that we repeat it Saturday morning is a smaller issue. It's a smaller issue. We've already sanctified the day. Shamor, which says in the book of Deuteronomy, guard, means that you should, this is a special day. Don't act like a horse that day. All the work that's, that a person does 6 days of the week, one should refrain from that work. And what type of work is it? The Talmud discusses the works. There are 39 classes of work. Basically, this is our weekly day off. This is our holiday. This is not our day for catching up on the activities that we haven't done the other 6 days of the week. So that's what Shamar means. The prophets, Isaiah, you want to bring me the book of Isaiah? The book of Isaiah, what's it, chapter 57, 58, somewhere over there, wrote a special sort of thing, which apparently the people of his generation were not too cognizant of. V'karoso la Shabbos, and you should call the Shabbos oneg, pleasure. V'chibadtihu me'asos derochecha, and you should honor it from doing your common things, even not your work. What does it mean karosa oneg, that it's a pleasurable, nice thing. The primary thing that I can think of is that you should go dressed on Saturday, not like you go dressed from the work days. If you want to wear work overalls when you're working,
Where was it in Isaiah?
I don't know,
57, 58.
57, 58. Okay. The Karosol HaShabbat Oneg, and you should eat foods. That's where all the habits of our foods, to eat challah.
If you wanna go down, you press the down key. And then there's a Bible here.
Maybe 56. I'll look at it. Okay.
What
56.
do you do Sunday
Yeah.
Jack, instruction,
for Shabbos?
is it a
No,
good
it says
word?
Vishinam
For
Talmud
Shabbat.
Anecha, and teach your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same verb.
56, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord to the eunuchs, as many as shall keep my Sabbath and choose the things which I take pleasure in and take hold of my covenant, is 56. Here, Ashrei Enosh, chapter, it's 56, okay?
Has it in Greek also?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Look, English,
Yeah.
Greek,
Keep making
Aramaic,
so you look at Aramaic.
other things. So that's good, Bill.
Yeah.
So this is where our custom that it's the Korosol Shabbos Oneg, that
Pleasure.
it's